Hey everyone, this is my Patreon proud reaction to the third episode of World Trigger. So, in the last episode, we got to learn a lot about Yuma. He's not quite what he seems, he's apparently a neighbor, which are mostly not giant robots, they're just relatively normal people. They just have these robots that they make that attack other people because they're apparently very war hungry. There's a lot of war going on. It's something we also learned from Yuma in the discussion in the class. Also, Mikumo's a board member, but not Yuma. I assume Yuma will join at some point. I don't know how much longer. Probably I would say if I had a venture wild guess of when he starts trying to join Border, I would say episode 6. I just throwing that out there. But the way last episode ended was we were attacked by a Trion soldier. So that's what they were called, Trion soldier. So yeah, hopefully the school can handle that because apparently they're able to outsmart border members by being able to get to places they're not supposed to get. Because that's the reason why they feel so safe. Is because yeah, border takes care of things. The bad guys only appear in the forbidden zones. We're safe here, right, guys? And then a Trion soldier appears, and then they realize no, you're not safe as you think you are. So that was something. So let's see if we can survive this this ordeal. 3, 2, 1, play. Also, Yuma got an injury before, but it didn't look like a normal injury. It looked like his body was artificial, so I guess that's some kind of Trion body as well. I'm not sure how all this works, but definitely more to learn about Yuma, I know that much. But going with the title, this is when Mikumo will step up, so we'll see how this goes. Are they not all built for combat? Okay. So basically, the missing people aren't all dead. Some of them just got taken for experiments, probably. That's good to know, so some of those people could theoretically be recovered. But yeah, I don't think Mikumo can handle that. I don't think he can kill it by himself. He might be able to hold it off until, real border members show up. The B's and A's and S's. I'm never gonna stop finding that amusing, just the fact that she has such a bigger cube than everyone. Including the guy next to her that's much taller than her. I didn't notice that before, but in the one shot, he looked like he shot energy beams out of the cube, so I thought it was just a power source with the triggers, but maybe it can be more than that. I love this song so much. This opening is just so good. So I don't know. It has to be a power source of some sort, otherwise there wouldn't be such a size difference like that. Because higher ranking border members, trigger users, probably a better word for it, trigger users can probably handle a bigger power source, and which will probably allow more powerful triggers. It's probably something like that. Still don't know why she has such a big one, though. I'm sure we'll get into that. Probably a prodigy. Yeah, Osamu Mikumo's ability. His ability to not die is probably what they're referring to. Yes, just go up. You can't possibly follow us up these stairs. Yeah, I can see how it's less designed for capturing than some of the other ones, the way it's designed. Oh, damn. Wow. Or one Yuma. I mean, probably half of a Yuma could probably do it. Wow. Okay. That's pretty hopeless. Or more like practically non-existent. I mean, he's not gonna die, he's the main character. one of the two main characters. I do think Kyuu and Yuma are equal in that regard. Yes, he knows more than you do. You will die if you attempt to fight that thing by yourself. Yes, he could take care of it quickly, but if people see him with his trigger, that'd be a problem. Because unlike you, he's not a board member, so if he has a trigger, questions would be asked. Yeah, you don't want to contradict yourself already. Yeah, okay, so she is his little sister. I mean, I guess it doesn't guarantee anything, but it's his little sister. Well, I definitely respect his determination. If only he was a bit more powerful. No. He's gonna need a lot of luck just to not die. But luckily he does have plot armor, so... well, that's bad. They can barely fit in the hallway, too. Where do we go now, guys? The window's slowing him down a little bit. Not anymore. Anyone come up with any ideas? Here we go. Obviously, well... He attacked one of them. I don't think it was a... Okay, so it was the same one. The angle of the shot kind of threw me off, but... Yeah, he did help. But yeah, now they know their classmate's a border member. I'm sure they have plenty of questions to ask him after this is over. Well, never mind. They erase memories, so that probably won't be an issue. I kind of forgot that until I said that. But yeah, they erase memories, so it should not be an issue if they do that again. So, place your bets, folks. If nothing else, he's a strategist, so... It probably won't help him kill it, but it'll help him not die. I'm surprised you didn't... I'm so surprised you're still on your feet. You wouldn't be if you didn't have your... I'm going to assume that grows back. Considering the glowiness of it, sparkling. Yes, he's actually a border member. A border agent, I should probably just start calling it that instead. Just Yuma, just chilling. With that thing floating there, as if nobody can see it. Okay, yeah, so it's like an energy body, so... The Treant is basically a power source for triggers. And probably just other things. It will. Yes, welcome to the world. I'm sure you could still do some pretty good damage without using your trigger, but even that would be suspicious. And now we have the backup that's on its way, at least. Probably at least A rank. Yeah, A. I'm glad it says it on them. One of them is a girl. Kitora, I assumes the girl. It's a more feminine name. I assume if he loses too much Treant, he just goes back to normal. Like that. Like an explosion. A bit less elegant than the you know, the other way around. Well, you can't take any more hits, Mikumo, so you might want to run away now. Okay, I figured. Almost. And yet still not that impressive. Yeah, one hit will kill you like this. Is that realization finally sinking in? Well, obviously. Did you doubt that? Ye... Yeah, I don't think C ranks are meant to be able to fight something like this on their own. Considering that even the A ranks are in a group, I assume no one is expected to fight these on their own, except maybe S ranks. Because I do think that's a thing. Triple! Quadruple! I mean, that's not technically using your trigger, but that's still... might as well. Oh. He's gonna use his trigger. That way he wanted to answer questions about where he got a trigger, he just says I borrowed it from Osamu. So yeah, that would help a little bit, I suppose. But being untrained with it would still be a bit suspicious. But better than the alternative, considerably. Probably not as powerful as this trigger though, but it probably doesn't need to be. It even says border on it, so yeah, they're customly designed for border agents. It looks so much less impressive. But it does look different than it did with Osamu, so... Guess he has some control with the shape. Yeah. And yeah, you expect Yuma to listen to you. But yeah, I think you can do it with Mikumo's trigger. But I'm sure he's gonna be noticeably weaker with it, though. Because I'm sure he still has a lot of Treon, which helps. Oh wow, that thing is banged up. It is a weak trigger. Surprised an energy weapon can get like that. Okay, so I bet the good offense is the best defense. What do you expect him to do, Mikomo? Which would explain why it's so weak. I mean, C-Ranks probably aren't even supposed to go on missions at all. Which was kind of confirmed to me with him coming in a training one. In fact, he could probably get in trouble attacking a neighbor without any kind of permission. So they probably make an exception for this kind of situation. Man, Yuma just looks so cool, just in general. I just really love his character design. Surprised that trigger didn't break completely. Have your trigger back, Mikomo, it's only slightly used. I'll pay for a new one if it breaks in the near future. But yeah, in the end, Yuma did have to save the day. But Mikomo did his best, and he technically used Mikomo's trigger to do it, so I guess he kind of helped. Good job. I'm sure that's quite an accomplishment. Yeah, a difference of experience in Treon, I'm sure. Yes. Okay, so now he knows about it. Yeah, but he's a protagonist, so I make an exception. I might start calling him Osamu. It's easier anyway. Are you sure? Yes. Oh, right, okay, a trio and soldier, that makes sense. Very kind of you. So it's a lot like mana, but I'll explain it for the audience's sake. Huh. Trio gland. Okay, sure, why not? Of course. Trion gland. That's... I guess it would explain why some people have more than others, because, you know, organs can vary, I guess. Yes, that's why Chica has, like, a giant one. Yeah, a lot like mana or chakra or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so very much a power source. Its size isn't all that matters, you know. How you use your Trion. Oh wow, savage. But yeah, he lacks experience as well, and just training and training. So my question is, Chica a border agent yet? I feel like she's not, but maybe this is the incident that causes her to become one, like to help protect her brother or something. Like we just acting as if he's the one that saved the day by carrying Yuma. Because he kind of has to take credit for this because he's the official border agent, but I don't even believe he finished them off because that's kind of a stretch. Yeah, that's who you were messing with. Hopefully they don't erase their memories because this is the coolest and most popular he's ever been at school. I don't think he knows how to handle it though. Just look at that face. There's actually this kid next to me who's secretly a neighbor with his own trigger. I can't say that though. Yeah, but you can't reveal the truth. I know it sucks, but... Wow, Yuma, you're gonna really milk this, aren't you? Uh, yes, that's what Mikomo did, alright. Well then dial back the story a bit. Well, you never asked, to be fair. It was amazing in a way. Yeah, you can't reveal that you know too much about them, Yuma. uh, Yuma, you're the best. Yeah, I know, it was awesome. You should have been there. Yuma's not good at listening either. Neither of you are. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Although he's the kind of guy that wouldn't brag even if it was him, so they're not too wrong here. Well, no kidding. I'm curious how the other border agents that were supposed to take care of this will react. Because are they gonna believe Osamu did that by himself with a training trigger? I don't think so. But they weren't expecting that. Arashiyama squad. I guess they're famous. They're definitely famous. Well, yes, obviously. A couple ranks higher than Osamu. What about arm count or a leg count? Those could get lost as well. Yeah, but they're gonna be suspicious about how its C rank did all this with a training trigger. Yeah, I don't think he was supposed to do that. But I feel like an emergency situation that could be forgiven. Because they attacked you at your establishment. It's not like you just went out to, find something. So I feel like they'd be lenient at the very least, if not completely forgive that. And there wasn't, people would have died. That look on her face. I was waiting for this. Positive response. It could have been much worse. I mean, I don't think he would be the one to decide any kind of punishment, but this bodes well. That would be them. Oh no, not our brother. That's not gonna work. Big brother, you're embarrassing us in front of our friends. He does seem alright. I figured if they were that famous. Okay. I guess that explains they would send them then. Because it would be good for PR in this type of school. I know, right? That's a big thing, only one attack. All the looks on Yuma's face is just... Yuma's a terrible liar, though, for obvious reasons. I think she might have a bit of a more negative opinion on this. I guess you want to do something. Good job. That Trion soldier didn't know what hit him. Because he was dead already. Yes. Yes, but I feel like when you're being attacked, it's a bit of a different story. Yeah, she's the kind of character I thought she might have been. Do you have any respect for the context in which this violation happened, like, at all? But yeah, I guess we'll see what kind of punishment he gets. Yeah, like a lot different. Yeah, basically mana or chakra. Yeah, it's kind of like an aura from Ruby, sort of. Again, he had to say it. Not done it. Kitora. Kitora probably is like a tsundere character. We'll probably get through to her eventually. Oh, that one does look like trouble. Oh. Cool. It's like the next episode has her name in it, so we are gonna get more of Kitora. Hopefully we can melt her heart a little bit. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. So, that was the third episode of World Trigger. And it was a pretty good episode. Like, I'm glad that we didn't, like, do any kind of, we didn't do any ass pulls that would allow Mikubo to, completely save the day by himself. And because, I was kind of thinking they may do something like that, but instead we had Yuma help within the best he could with his abilities because he is a trainee. We're not going to have him unlock some super duper magic protagonist powers, at that special moment. So I'm glad they didn't do anything like that. But he did do his best within his abilities, and he did save people. Like he was able to like chop off a limb when some students were captured, were kind of cornered. So he was able to help. Like his presence here was not unneeded. He definitely did help. So he did definitely step up the best he could realistically be expected to. However, he was not able to actually completely destroy all of them. That was never really a realistic possibility. Like I said, without having some kind of ass pull. So what they opted to do instead of having Yuma just save the day with his own powers, he decided to use Osamu's trigger, because the good thing about that is that if somebody sees him fighting with it, he's not using his own trigger. So if somebody says, "Hey, how did you get a trigger? This doesn't seem right." "Oh, I borrowed it from Osamu. He was like, incapacitated or whatever, so I figured I would help fight with it." So he wouldn't be revealed to be, at least wouldn't be revealed to be a neighbor. Of course, he was still getting a little bit of trouble probably. There probably would still be questions to be asked there, but it would avoid the worst case scenario. So I did like that idea. And he obviously was told not to use his trigger, so that's kind of a loophole that as well, which I think was more of the point than what I just said. But anyway, Osamu, being as powerful as he is, was able to defeat them using nothing but that trainee trigger. Trainee trigger, I like the alliteration there. So, of course, it wasn't easy. That trigger is not very powerful, like at all, and it was going up against what Replica said was the strongest substance that they had, basically. So defending against it wasn't gonna work. So he actually had to just attack. Of course, killing them in like one hit was probably overdoing it a little bit, because that kind of was maximum suspiciousness when the actual border agents arrived. But I mean, you couldn't really worry about that too much in this sort of life and death situation. But the point is, Yuma was able to defeat them using Osamu's trigger, so that definitely lent itself more, like if they had any kind of official investigation of this scenario, it would make it more likely for them to believe Osamu did it. So I think they handled the situation really as best they could. Obviously, this was an emergency. They really were limited in their options of how they wanted to deal with this, because they wanted people not to die. They wanted Yuma not to be found out. They wanted Osamu not to get in trouble for using his trigger. So obviously they couldn't have like a perfect scenario with this, but I think given all the things they had going against them, this really was the best they could hope for as far as getting worked out. By they, I of course mean Osamu and Yuma. So yeah, obviously they weren't going to say the truth about Yuma doing it, so Osamu basically got all of the credit, which he felt a little bit uncomfortable with, because he's a good person. That's the kind of character he is, so he's not going to want to take credit for something he didn't do. Although, like I said, he did help. He did attack the Treon soldiers. He did save some students, so he may not have been the one that, created all these Treon soldiers, but he did help, so he is definitely deserving of some praise. So hopefully he's willing to at least accept some of that, even though he's getting more than he deserves. But I like how Yuma was just going full on, just, yes, you should have seen him. Osamu was such a hero. He just like swooped in. He just like owned all those Treon soldiers one after another. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. His power, it was just unbelievable. You should have been there. It was incredible. I just like how Yuma just went full on with that. That was pretty funny. Yeah, Osamu was kind of yelling at him like, "No, calm down, Yuma. You're overselling it. Please stop." But it was still entertaining, so I enjoyed it nonetheless. I do quite enjoy the dynamic those two have with each other. So eventually, the actual border agents that were dispatched to take care of the situation arrived, and then they found out, hey, the Treon soldiers are already taken down. I wonder what happened here. And then Osamu was like, I did it. I guess, I have my trainee trigger. I'm rank C. It's kind of broken now, but that's to be expected, I guess. And then the Ariyashima. I'm gonna have trouble with that name. Ariyashima, something like that. The squad, basically the leader was like, "Yay, good job, man. My siblings go to this school, so I really appreciate you making sure they didn't die." So that was the one side of it, him having a lot of appreciation for a job well done. And then you have the flip side with Kyutora, our by-the-book, letter of the law, context doesn't matter character, which we usually have with this sort of thing. Very much comes across as a tsundere character. And if that's the case, I look forward to getting some of that Dara in the future, if you know what I mean. But that's not going to happen yet. Maybe it'll happen next episode, because next episode title seemed to have her name in it, so she might be the MVP of that episode. I am looking forward to seeing what she can do. Just seeing what these A-rank can do in general, because they obviously didn't get to fight this episode. Well, we got Kyutora attack an already dead one a little bit, which I'm not sure why she did that exactly. I don't know, she's Maybe so she can actually say she did something when they ask about what happened there. I don't know. But the point is, she was the one that's like, hey, you know you're rank C, right? You're just a trainee. You're not supposed to attack anything. You know, you're not supposed to do that. Which questions why they're allowed to carry triggers with them in the first place, so that they're not allowed to use them to defend themselves against Treon soldiers. That confuses me a little bit. Like, I figured self-defense when his school gets attacked would be, permissible. But, because I can see it would, get into trouble if you're like, oh my god, that building way over there is being attacked. I'm gonna go play hero and go, fight them. I can understand that getting some punishment, but if the Treon soldiers attack your school while you're at it with no other border agent around at the time, with immediate threats to not only citizens but students, children, you would think they would not punish you for that, but I don't know. It really depends on what they want to do. I'm not that familiar with this world, so I don't know how seriously they would take things like that, but I would imagine there wouldn't be as near as much punishment as Kitora seems to imply that there would be. She just comes across as she has a stick up her butt in general, just her entire disposition. But yeah, the scene between the siblings and the Arashiyama squad leader, that was pretty funny. They just like, oh no, our brother's here. Just look away. He won't notice us if we don't make eye contact. And then he just grabs hold of them, and he's just excited to see his siblings aren't dead. So I know he's embarrassing you guys in front of your friends, but just bear with us for a little bit. He almost lost his siblings there, so be a bit understanding with that. So, yeah, that pretty much was the episode. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. Of course, Kitora, kind of a wet blanket, was, kind of raining everyone's parade a bit there at the end. But overall, I'd say I was really happy with this episode. Like I said, I'm glad they didn't do any sort of ass pull. This protagonist secretly has a whole bunch of powers he hasn't tapped into yet. But he finally tapped into it now because this is when the series begins. Like, I'm glad they didn't do anything like that. Not a lot of shonen anime like to do, so I do respect that a lot as well. And I think they really handled the situation in a pretty good way that I can accept. And it seems like next episode we're going to have a big, bad Treon soldier, different than the ones we've seen so far. I haven't actually bothered to remember the names of the different Treon soldiers yet, but I do know that some of them are for killing, some of them are for capturing. I'm not sure what this big one is for, but yeah, that's one thing I forgot to mention. But apparently they mentioned a bunch of missing people like in the previous episode, which I just assumed were all dead. But considering how long it's been, you'd think they would have already been accounted for eventually, but it makes more sense if they're actually capturing some of these people, probably for some sort of experimentation, probably related to triggers in some way. No, I'm sure we'll get more of that eventually. I am expecting we'll have some sort of expedition into the gate. That'll probably be roughly halfway through the series if I had to guess, but I'm guessing we're having some sort of expedition into the gate. Probably to rescue someone who got kidnapped, I would assume. Chica, if I had a venture, I guess, someone we would care about getting captured, because she does obviously have a lot of potential. In the opening, we see her large cube, her large Treon cube, her Treon gland. I'll talk about that in a bit as well. So if she's like a prodigy, has a lot of power, I could see, and they like discover that, I can see them like wanting to capture her specifically. And because she's related to our protagonist Osamu, and she's very valuable just in general, like from a practical standpoint to an organization like Border, I can see them being able to justify some sort of expedition to get her back. So that might be a thing at some point. Or Yuma gets captured by people that he knows and they have to go get him back. That's possible too. But I don't know. I don't see Yuma getting himself captured. I think Chica, she's more of a, I don't want to say damsel in distress, but I could see her being like very new to this whole border agent thing, not being able to handle herself as well as somebody like Yuma. So I think that'd be more likely. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on all of that. Now, we did learn more about Treon in general. Apparently people have a Treon gland. I'll admit that made me laugh the first few times they brought that up because it just sounds so silly. But it's basically, Treon's basically mana, chakra, just any energy source. Just a lot of shows have different, names for that sort of thing. It's just there's different names for it. I was trying to think of another name for it, but I was blanking on it, so never mind. So there's going to be some natural talent, which, like I said, Chica probably has more than the other people, which is why her cube is like bigger than the freaking A-rank agent next to her in the shot. But and Yuma's as well. But we haven't addressed why some of them are black. I mean, I know they're probably black because of the black trigger, because Yuma has a black trigger. The Ariyashima squad leader probably has a black trigger as well. I don't know what the difference is. I guess they're just probably the super duper triggers. Either that or their neighbor triggers, but the only reason why I don't think they're neighbor triggers is because the Arayashima leader has one. So unless there's a plot twist with him being a neighbor as well, which is not impossible, I'm gonna lean on them being like super powerful, like that has like a concentrated amount of Trione inside of them, which causes them to turn black, you know. Kinda like how fire, if it gets really hot, changes color. Maybe it's kinda like that. Maybe there's something even more powerful than black that we'll learn later in the series, who knows. But all I know is that this was a pretty good episode. I like how the series is handling its world building, especially those little ending segments we have when they just kind of have like Yuma and Osamu talk to each other. They give us a little bit of more details about some of the world building aspects. Like, I like that a lot because you can kind of take some of the little bit of the details you don't want to like bog down a scene with. You don't want to go too info dumpy. So they can just like take some of that and just put it in the ending preview. I like that a lot, especially since they try to make it a little bit amusing as well. I really do like how they handle that. Just world building in general. This is obviously a very long form series, so they can really afford to take their time with the world building. So I do like their approach to that. So I feel like I've already talked way too much on this episode already. So I'll just end that off here, and I'll just say I loved the episode, and I look forward to watching the next one. Thank you for watching, and thank you Cnouki, as well as everyone else, for doing what you can to support the channel. It means a lot to me, and I hope we can continue to grow the channel together. If you want to do more to support the channel, then you can become a patron on my Patreon and get cool rewards like early access to certain videos. Have a good one.